Hello everyone, and welcome back to another update on this year's garden and the hobby farm here on the Jones Act Survival channel. I decided I better do an update video today because in the next couple weeks here this garden's going to be looking a lot different. I've already started canning beans. I've now canned about, I think it's 34 pints so far, and that's just out of this left row right here. The right row, which was planted, if you remember right, most of these did not grow, so like 3 weeks later I planted a whole another row of these, so these are just starting to mature, so there'll be a lot more canning, and I'm going to freeze a bunch of them. Once the peas all start to mature like these do right here, it's time to do stir fries, and I have been making a lot of really good stir fries. The garden is to that point now where you really don't weed anymore. It's hard to walk around in there. The plants are not being starved for anything because of the weeds, so there's a few weeds in the garden now. But some of the potato plants are starting to get that kind of sickly look, and they're definitely making potatoes, and it's not going to be more than a few weeks, I think, and I'll be digging those up. The onions over on this end of the garden, you can see they're starting to fall over by themselves. If you guys remember the onion video, as soon as, I don't know, 80% of them or so have fallen over, I'll help them out and push them over. But I've got some really nice size onions this year. And actually, if you look here, the weed that's growing here with the onions, right here, that's purslane. And I've never done a wild edible video on it, and I should. It gives a real, it has a real savory taste. It's nice to add into the stir fries and stuff like that. So I've been actually harvesting the weeds as well as everything else. Last week all of my broccoli was up. I had that cut up and I got it into some bags and in the freezer. I actually wish that I would have grew more of that, but I got that into the freezer bags like you saw, and then these here I save and I use those when I do the stir fries. With my cauliflower, as you can see, the heads have started. I'd say another week or so, and this will be going in the freezer also. I have eggplants that have started now. I've been harvesting some kale and using that in stir fries. Sarah has been grabbing it for, what did she say? I think when she makes a sandwich or something, she'll put this on there. I've got a lot of green peppers. I've already picked a bunch, and there's a bunch more that are definitely growing. This week now I'm going to be canning beets and the carrots. They're all ready to go. Lots of heads of both the regular cabbage and the purple cabbage is actually starting now too. This is my peanut plant right here, my little experiment. It's growing really good. I'm going to wait until the very end of the season because this had a real long, like 100 or 120 day growing time. So this fall I'll pull that up and see what we get. Some of the tomato plants here are taller than I am, and they all have a whole bunch of tomatoes on them, but we haven't got to harvest any of them yet. Nothing has turned red, but it won't be long. You can see right here that they're starting to get a little bit of color. Earlier in one of the videos, probably the last video on the garden, I figured we'd have a record year for strawberries, but we have a family of crows that likes to nest up in those pine trees right there. Anyway, I come out here the one day and there was at least 6 of them in this thing. They ate the green ones and everything. Here in the state of Minnesota, there is a crow hunting season, but if you see a crow that's doing damage to your crop, or if you think they're going to do damage to your crop, you can shoot them. But every time I've come out here, they're silent when they're in there and then they fly away. I haven't seen them in here for a while. A lot of these are ever-bearing, so they're going to bloom again and we'll get a bunch more, but it really put a damper on what was going to be a really great strawberry harvest. Over here on the viney side, we've got yellow squash. Oh, and here I've got a lot of acorn squash. I didn't do good on acorns last year, but I'm getting a lot of them. And like I've said before, I don't much care for them that much, but my mom and dad really do like them, so I always like to get some and give them to them. I've got pumpkins that are started here, actually quite a few of them. They're all kind of scattered in this whole mess. Zucchinis are up on the far end. We'll go take a look at those. Cucumbers, I just harvested a couple of those the other day. I've got watermelons now that have started, so hopefully this year has been amazing. I have not yet had to water the garden. This week 2 times, once in the, like 7 days ago, and then another time about 2 days ago, I got almost 3 inches of rain here overnight. So it's just been amazing. The thunderstorms, the lightning, and a ton of rain, and I have not had to water at all. There's another pumpkin that it's kind of vined up the fence here, and it's just hanging. I wonder how long until the weight takes over and it falls off the fence. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but these are those gherkins or whatever they're called. There's one right there. I ate one, but they're real small now. They have a long growing season too, and they only get about 2 inches long. And then they're supposed to have like they're supposed to taste like a cucumber, kind of like a watermelon also, and then have a kind of a tangy bitter at the end that makes it seem like it's already been pickled. Well, I ate a young one and it just tastes like a cucumber, but I got lots of them here, so I'm just going to let them grow and hopefully, I don't know, that's just really interesting to me. A lot of great northern beans that are doing good. These are my dry beans. I'm just going to let them dry out, and at the end of the season I'll pull them out and put them in a jar. I did can, remember I did the dragon tongue beans? Let's go take a look at those. Okay, so this is what a dragon tongue bean looks like. Now this is a dry bean, but it's also good just eating it regular like you would a regular snap bean. So I actually canned 5 pints of these, and just like when I do my beans now, I do the wax beans and the green beans and my purple beans all together like you saw. And when you can those, the purple beans then become green beans. All the color is gone. And when I canned these here, same thing. The color disappeared, but it'll be something different to eat, and there wasn't anything that was chewy about them or anything, so I thought I'd give it a try. Well, there's one cucumber. I think these are my straight 8s, but that one is kind of a fat one right now. But there's another one over here. So got these, more cucumbers, zucchini squash, ambrosia melons, crimson sweet watermelon has started. I have one more kohlrabi left. I had, I think, 4 or 5 of these planted, and I've ate all the other ones. I do like it. They're really good in a stir fry. So this one's getting a little big, so I got to eat him pretty soon. We got okra growing pretty good here. I can't stand it, but I had to grow it, so there it is. Yellow straight, I think that's just like a straight neck squash. There's another cucumber. All the celery seems to be doing good, even though that has a really long growing season. It's just like I said, we've had warm temperatures and a lot of rain, and it just seems to be growing good. So the only other stuff here in the garden is I got Brussels sprouts, but you don't really harvest them until well after the first freeze, even the first snow, and that's when they start to really get good. And these will get, almost as tall as I am. Collard greens, stuff like that. Everything just seems to be growing. So that pretty much wraps it up here for the garden. You can see my sunflowers in the back, which are just remnants from last year that grew. Oh, I guess we didn't look at the fruit, the back fruit there. I guess Sarah did get 1 or 2 raspberries. And I kind of keep it a secret, but you can see right there, ripe blueberries. I've had a few of those. It looks like there's 4 or 5 ripe ones right now. So now that you saw everything on the garden, we'll switch over to the hobby farm part of everything. And the barn here, workshop, the boards on the outside were the paint has been kind of failing, and so a couple days ago I come out here with a power washer and I power washed it, which blew most of the white paint off. And then I spent almost the whole entire day today repainting everything. I've still got white paint on my hands that I've already showered and keep trying to wash it off, but it's sticking on there, but it looks a lot better. So if we switch over here to the animals, in the last video I was still building this cage. The cage is now complete. If you guys have been watching the chicks hatch on my other channel, Northern Seclusion, you saw these, even the last Joe and Zach survival video, these were in the brooder, and now I've brought them out here into the cage. I've got all my little chickens here. Up there, the two that are closest to us there, those are turkeys, bourbon reds. This here is a bourbon red right here too. Oh, you're curious, huh? It's amazing the color variations that I've gotten mixing the New Hampshire reds with the Oricana male. Complete whites to browns to almost like a barred rock over there. It's just amazing. Sarah wanted geese so bad, and I have another video going on Northern Seclusion right now where I have over 100 eggs in 2 different incubators, and they are going to go, the first one's going to go on lockdown tomorrow, and 7 days later the next incubator goes on lockdown, so I'm going to be hatching a lot more eggs. And I had 7 eggs, goose eggs, and all of them seem to candle clear. Maybe one of them isn't, I'm still watching it, so I didn't think we were going to have any luck. So we went up to one of the local farm stores here that happened to have some geese. These are Tula geese, I believe, which is the kind that Sarah wanted so bad, so I bought 2. She got a big one and a littler one, hoping it's going to be a male and a female, and then we'll keep them, and then we'll be able to get our own eggs. So we'll see what happens. I might have to go buy another one if these are 2 males or 2 females, I'm not sure, but at least she got some geese. So over here, my pride and joy, I love raising quail, and I've never raised the snowflake quail, so they're in here now. So you can see these in here. Look at those snowflake ones. Amazing. Look at the coloring on those. These are, you know, they're about half highs now. They get about twice this big. In the incubators right now, I have over 3 dozen of the snowflake quail. I've got, how many was it? I think a little over 2 dozen, I think, of the Butler bobwhites, which are big, and then I've got another, a little more than a dozen of the Cortunix quail. In fact, we'll run inside and I'll show you those incubators quick. So these are the 2 incubators right here. This one is the one that goes on lockdown tomorrow. So in this one you can see there on the left, and then the 3rd row in I got quail eggs. Those real big ones are goose. I've got some chicken eggs there on the 2nd row, 3rd row, 4th row, the 5th row there. That one is mainly turkey, and there's only 2 of those, and I can't remember what type they are. They're really pretty. Only 2 of them so far aren't clear, so I think I'm only going to get 2 turkeys. And on the far right, those are all mallard duck, and most of those are fertile, so I should get some ducks out of this too. This one here, which locks down and will hatch about a week later, this one here I also have 3 goose eggs. I also have a whole bunch here. Those are all snowflake quail. The one and the other one, those were the Butler quail. And over here, these are the Cortunics. And all the other ones are chicken eggs, and they're all chickens, you know, the eggs from my chickens, so I had a pretty good hatch rate on those. Okay, so that was the incubators, and like I said before, I post them on the Northern Seclusion channel because I also post videos that Melissa has from down in Louisiana. And in fact, I am going down to Louisiana the second week into August for a week, and I'm going to build her a chicken coop because she has chickens, a lot of them, and there are nowhere to put them. So I'm going to build almost a replica to this down there. And it sucks because today I talked to her a few times, but one of the times, and it was 98 degrees outside with a feels like of 119 or 120. I'm not used, I mean, we work in some hot weather up here in Minnesota. We don't have that kind of humidity, so I'm not really looking forward to that, but it needs to be done, and I'm looking forward to seeing her. And that video I'm going to post on Northern Seclusion. I built this new little cage thingy. I was just cleaning up after doing the chicken cages out there, and when I got the metal roof, it came like made into this little pallet thingy, and so I had those 2x4s that were sitting up there, and I'm trying to clean everything up. It's like, what should I do with these? So instead of storing them somewhere, I decided to cut them up, and I made this here. So these poor little rabbits, Mr. Buck right there. This is not Miss Opinionated. She got put down last winter because she got sick. Sarah had to do that. But Miss Doe here, they just sit in their little 2-foot by 2-foot cubicles inside of the barn, and they never really see the light of day. So by making this pen, I pull them out here in the morning, let them in there all day, and you know what? They are so overweight that I'm going to pull them off of pellets now, and they can either eat grass or don't eat anything at all, because man, there are some big rabbits. But they seem to like it out here. She's always real shy and nervous, but he's a little bit better. I'm thinking about maybe breeding him once this year, but I'm really not sure. So, but anyway, for now, at least they get some fresh air, some green grass, and they can kind of stretch their legs a little bit. As far as these birds here go, I'm going to keep the turkeys. I'm hoping I get at least one male, and I'm hoping I get a male and a female. If I get 2 males, one of the males gets butchered. But I want to keep them because it was really hard to get eggs, and after traveling, they do not, they don't incubate well. A lot of them are dead, so I'm hoping to collect my own eggs. Most of these chickens are going to get butchered. I'm going to keep 5 or 6 for my egg flock so I can get about a dozen eggs a day. The rest of these are going to get butchered. My hens here and stuff, they lay me almost an egg a day. Oh no, you're not getting out yet, not until the garden is done. But I'm going to add to these, like I said, and then the batches right now that are actually in the incubator, I'm going to put them for sale when they're like 2 days old, see what happens. If they don't sell, I'm then going to put them in the cage there, and I'm going to butcher them also. And I've got the 4 hens, and pretty consistently I get 4 eggs, you know, always 2. Sometimes 3, and most of the time 4. I'm hatching a whole bunch of these real dark big ones, and I'm excited to see what them chickens look like, because that's a nice size, good looking egg. The dogs are doing good like always. Well, that just about does it for the hobby farm and the garden. Just one more quick thing to take a look at. I remember showing you when I planted this first apple tree. I'm not sure if I showed when I planted any of the other ones. This was that first Honeycrisp. But I did plant 2 more apple trees. Both of these are like a northern light apple. To be honest, I waited until they were 50% off, so I got them for about $21, and they were nice looking trees. This one does have an apple growing on it this year, and this one over here has 2 apples growing on it this year. When you buy them though and you plant them and they already have the apples on it, it kind of feels like you're cheating. It'll be interesting to see what we get next year. I also have a Pembina Plum that I planted, and a nice looking Toka Plum also. If I've showed you these before, I apologize, but I guess mainly they're doing really good. And I haven't had any wilting or anything, so hopefully next year we'll get some fruit. Okay everyone, well, thanks a lot for watching. Like I said, I wanted to do this update video because in the next week, I don't do these every week, every 2-3 weeks, And by the next time we see that garden, it will definitely look a little bit smaller because a lot of stuff will be coming out. It's harvest time. See you guys on the next video.